Don't miss out.
Amen. We'll move to the next, which is the next opening remarks. So I will speak, and he's going to give his remarks. So please speak amongst yourself, and you can go ahead. Hello, sir. Our team, you are with us. We want to believe you are with us and you are hearing us live. So kindly go on, announce yourself, and you have the floor.
Yeah. Hi. Can you hear me?
All right. We'll skip that. As soon as he's available, we will take the so we'll move to the next item, which is citation of resources. So I call on God.
Before the resource person comes up, I'm very sorry to cut it, but I feel that it's just nice to have a few introduction for those who are with us and particularly those who are here. And we know that the resource person as well is from an international arena, and we also like it to be able to pass his audience. When it is time like the other competitor, we are going to have to change the speech. But we don't go mind, we have a number of people, but before I introduce those online, let's introduce those who are on site. Permit me to use that word. We are actually on site, but in actual fact, we are online, so because we're doing the webinar through the link here. With me here, I have a number of senior colleagues at the Foreign Schools and the School of Science, and I'd like to start with them, and I will introduce as well some introducers who are here, present with us on site. Like I said, on site include, permit me to put it that way. First, I'd like to introduce our owner in the house, an oracle, a former name, that's the person of the Lubumi and Joke Parent. And we will have it together. Thank you very much, my nice to have you around. We also have with us and Dr. Rahman, former HOD computer department. You're welcome, sir. So nice to have you around. Another senior officer in the School of Science, a former head of the Committee of Conference, as well as the former HOD Department of Biology, that is Mr. Taiwo Aboy. Very much welcome, sir. We appreciate your support. We also have the current HOD Chemistry Education Department, Dr. Emmanuel Udowu of Bolo. We have done a film former HOD, Mr. Ojo Awogo, Mr. Lutai Otiko, Mr. Raymond, and every other person himself. I must also acknowledge especially the presence of the chairperson, Conference Organization Committee, that's the person of Dr. Charity. Is basically all right. Okay, let's welcome to our online. I've seen a number of people and I want to just print them. But we would appreciate if everybody can sign in using names that will help us to identify them, you know, so that it will help us as we continue. We also have here the former HOD Internet Science online. Dr. Adejare Okediji, you are very much welcome. My very own HOD, Dr. Manara Fatima Bakwe, is also online. We are glad that we are here with us. As all people join us, we will continually introduce them. Let me especially appreciate our people who are behind the technical garden, the crew, especially recognize Mr. Lawa Mabatide, Mr. Jatona, Mr. Sheikh Masbode, thank you very much. We've been working tirelessly since yesterday. So we'll continue the program as planned, and after the webinar, if you have other people to introduce, we will do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Once again, we want to apologize on behalf of the dean he's on his way, and just because of cheese here and there, that is why. So I believe as soon as he comes in, he will make his opening remarks. But he has given up to declare the event open. So having said that, I call Dr. F.H. Dada to come on to take the citation first person.
Et qu'on a toujours sur ce monde.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone sitting in this place today. I am Dr. Mrs. People Dada. It is with great pleasure I stand before you this morning to read the citation to our resource person for this much anticipated webinar, Dr. Charles Jovan Wade. Dr. Charles Wade. Dr. Charles Jovan Wade obtained his Bachelor of Science degree in Food and Bioprocessing Engineering from our very own University of Nigeria, Minnesota, in the year 2008. He then proceeded to the prestigious University of Manitoba, Canada, where he got his Master of Science degree in Biosystem Engineering in 2014 rather. He then continued for his doctoral degree in the same University of Manitoba in Canada, where he obtained his doctoral degree in the year 2018. As an unconventional student, Dr. Wade developed a mathematical model for 3D characterization of pure factors and airflow distribution integration systems. His dissertation was one of the outstanding ones and best to point out the role of smart tools for export systems in sustainable food post-harvest management. Okay? Now, his research work. Dr. Wizu has been actively involved in food engineering innovation with focus on the application of mathematical modeling to predict food behavior under industrial and human processes and the consequent effects of these processes on safety, quality, nutrition of food products, and health and well-being of consumers. In the year 2020, at the University of Nebraska, where he initiated independently a research program that centers on the application of computational and multi-physics mathematical modeling, he combined multiple data analysis in 3 ways: post-harvest waste management, interaction between food properties, food digestion, and consumer health, incorporating simulation tools in food science and engineering systems and in engineering education. He has received several awards in research, summing up to about $750,000. I think it deserves an applause for this. Professor has worked extensively in researches and has published extensively also in remarkable journals. Among his remarkable papers are the ones he published Journal of Computer and Electronics Agriculture, Sustainable Food and Harvest Management, titled computational modeling of heterogeneous force function and temporal distribution in brain erosion systems. Other ones are measurement of internal conductivity of growth flow in Canada Society of Bioengineering, characterizing total airflow paths in brain box using image visualization techniques in Canada Society of Engineering, cross-scale geometrical model based on compassion for predicting resistance to airflow in storage systems. All in collaboration with Qzone, a well-known collaborator and researcher. Dr. Charles Witt has presented many of his findings in seminars and conferences. Because of time, I will just mention a few. He has presented at the Food Science Education and Nutrition Conference organized by the International Food Science Education 2021. He presented a paper titled Improved Success Skills of Non-Native English Speaking Food Science Students, interdisciplinary collaborative active learning approach, responsibility. Dr. Wesu was nominated by the University of Nebraska in Lincoln's Vice President the member of the UNL Grant Challenge Steering Committee. Also, he was nominated to commit in the drafting of the 2021 strategic plan, under which the committee identified 7 thematic units and areas. He has also worked in alliance with many other American Society of Agriculture and Biological Engineering researchers globally to establish research hubs in Africa, where he has identified technological and innovative pillars for researches in Africa. Lecturing. Dr. Charles Winslow is an assistant professor of practice at the University of Nebraska, Lincoln. It teaches upper lower undergraduate food engineering courses, along with a practice of biological materials, food engineering unit operations, heat and mass transfer, and before his appointment at the University of Nebraska, he was the research assistant in the Department of Bioscience, Biosystems Engineering, University of Manitoba State. Other awards. He has received several awards. Among them are the UNN Peer Review Program, a professional development program that provides a model for faculty-led equality teaching and scholarly teaching. He is the peer reviewer of teaching project placement portfolio and also of fruit and vegetable technology. The submission is strongly concerned about content on rethinking teaching and learning processes and centrally key to on impact on the student program process of learning. Working experience. As we had earlier said, he worked as a research assistant and as a graduate assistant at the University of Manitoba, Canada. And at present, he works with the University of Nebraska as a teacher and lecturer in the Department of Biosystems Engineering. Dr. Winslow is evidently an accomplished scholar. With all that we have mentioned, we can see that we have all the way to feature in today's webinar. So, ladies and gentlemen, join me and welcome on board the first person for this morning's webinar, a renowned and reputable scholar and a good man with a good man, Dr. Charles Thomas
Thank you. Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Very well.
Oh, good, good, good. Okay, thank you so much for that very long citation there. Thank you, I really do appreciate. So like the introduction, my name is Charles Chioma. Actually, my name is Chioma, but something happened when I was at Nsukka many years ago, where I decided to start pushing and adding Charles to my name. So my name is Chioma Wims. I'm an assistant professor at the Food Innovation Center here in Nebraska, US. So today, I've been invited to talk on a very important topic. And this topic is very close to my heart. And that's the topic of getting money in research. And I know many of you in this gathering today, perhaps you are looking also to perfect your skills and competency. Just have idea about how to apply to international grants, foreign grants, which are very, very there for African scholars like you guys today. So because of time, I have a very short time. I'm just going to go into it immediately. Sorry, can I share my screen? Been disabled by the. So why the technician is figuring that? Can I share my screen? Can you allow me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I can share now. Okay. Okay, I have the screen. Can you all see my screen online and also on site? I believe you can see my screen, so I can go ahead, right? Good. Good. Okay, good. So like we said, the topic is going to be, how is AI, artificial intelligence, revolutionizing research grant writing? Today, I'm not going to bore us by talking about debate going on. A lot of people are saying, can we use artificial intelligence in writing? There are a lot of pro and people that are against it, you know. But I think as a scholar, as a researcher, we should be able to ethically make use of these tools. We need to use them as a tool. They cannot replace our critical thinking. They cannot replace our brain. They cannot replace us. They're not person, they're just tools. Just like you make use of calculator in mathematics, or you make use of Excel spreadsheets in developing some macros softwares. That's exactly how we use these tools to increase our productivity, to get more money into research. So today, I kind of divided the talk. I have very short time into introduction. The second thing we will discuss is the research grant proposal. Then we go from there. So I will skip this. I think the professor that just introduced me did a very good job. So I'm just going to rush the introduction part of it. My teaching area is in computation and food process engineering. That's where I currently teach. My research interest is in mathematics. So I use mathematics to solve problems in food. So it's like combining mathematics and food. So if you are interested in this area, we can collaborate further. You can talk to me, you can send me an email after this seminar. Also, my teaching, students are particularly the most important people in my classroom. So I don't teach passively, like you heard in the citation. I'm a proponent of active-based learning, where the student take the center of my classroom. And this has been an area people are getting to know me in America as well in Canada, because that's the way my classroom is. I teach a very mathematics rigorous course, but I make it so active, whereby I take the sideline. I don't teach whereby I stay in the front. No, I take the sideline and the student do the learning process, and I watch that. So that is the area, and we've gotten a lot of money, grant money on this from the USDA. We've gotten some from NSF to actually study more how students actually learn. So we're working on this as well. And in my research, I use mathematics, like I said, and I apply it to food. But the overall goal is to drive sustainability in food system. Today, what we will be discussing is research grant writing using AI. 3 years ago, when I got my first grant, there was this the outblow of AI is not the way it was 2 years ago. But things are becoming easier, and researchers need to ethically, and I buttress that, ethically make use of these tools. So you need to use them as models. You need to use them as tools. You can't just lift from there. Let them guide you. You be the driver, because you are the researcher. You are the scientist. So these tools can guide you. They cannot replace the writing aspect of your research grants. They cannot, but they can guide you. So today, I'm just going to talk about 3 things, and we will end this talk very fast. 3 things. These 3 things encompassing everything I've been doing. I just got another grant this year. These 3 things is what I did. And I apply, I write the proposal up with the help of these tools, and we're able to get the grant. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to talk about is idea. Idea. And you can ask me question after. The second thing quickly we will talk about is the method or methods. So the idea is the first thing. So as a researcher, you want to come up with a very tangible idea, very fundable idea. Now, we need to understand, how can AI help us to generate ideas? I know in Africa, there are a lot of community problems that you guys can get involved in, especially for you people that are education researcher. There are a lot of things that can be done, even in the college, and you can write up a proposal on that. But the idea has to be a fundable idea. You can't just have any idea and decide to write on it. That's time wasting. You're wasting money. Because if you waste time, you waste money. So the second thing we're going to be discussed is on method. And lastly, I will talk briefly about structure. And this structure can be different depending on the agency you are applying to. The way you apply to TED Fund in Nigeria might be different to the way you will apply the structure you're going to use for Carnegie Corporation or the Bill Gates Mandela Corporation grants. So structure, it's fluidic, depending on the agency, what they want. So you have to read to understand the core. Then you can structure your proposal writing based on that. But I will just give you the structure I always use. Then you can elaborate more on that structure. So we talk briefly about that. Now, how do you get idea? Now, as a researcher, I assume that we all have ideas. But is that idea, can that idea generate gap? That's the question. Can the idea generate gap in research? When I mean gap, we mean research gap. That's what you're looking for. Let's say, for instance, someone in this class, someone in this seminar has an idea on how to implement active-based learning and the impact of active-based learning on student success skills. That's an idea. But can that idea give you a gap? Are there gaps? Because people have been researching. Before we become a researcher, there have been a lot of people, centuries. So perhaps someone has done that. So that's what we look at. When I review a grant, a proposal, I'm looking, this idea, is there a gap? Can that provide a meaningful research? So what we're looking at is, if that idea generates gap, that gap, does it have great significance? So when we're looking at significance, it's a measurable parameter. Intellectual merit. What knowledge can that gap add to the body of knowledge? Then what community impact can that gap add to the society? So these two things is what they use to measure your gap. So how can AI help you to do this? So let's say, for instance, you have an idea. There is a tool called, so I'm going to be calling out a lot of tools here that I use personally to speed up my grant writing process. Like, I have idea about the impact or implementing practice-based or active-based learning. I'm using this example because I know you guys are in education research. Practice-based learning on student success skills. So there is this tool called Page Digest, and I'm going to go quickly. So we kind of a little bit hands-on, just quickly use that time. So it's open like this. So what I need to do, go to the literature review and type what I want to do. That is the implementation of practice-based learning on student success skills. Then this tool is going to generate, because what I'm looking for, if I want to trace gap, is there a gap in that research? Is this something I can pursue? So it gives me current paper. I can look at different papers that maybe 5 years ago or 10 years ago in that field. Then I started. This tool is an artificial intelligence tool that can summarize what has been done so far. So you, as a researcher, is to read, look at it and see, is there a gap? But the problem is, I don't want to do anything. I just want to be the driver of using this tool. So once I get this paper, I can decide to dig more into them. I can just choose one of them and dig into them. Or I can take one of the paper and go to another tool and go immediately to another tool, which is called, 3 of them can be used. So what I do, immediately I have those areas using the paper digest. So this one is the paper digest. I can give you this slide if you want. Then I go to any of these 3. So what that tells me, what that do for me is 3 of them can do the same thing. For example, if I go to connected paper, it's going to show me the connection of my idea. So I pick a paper from the paper digest, I put it into connection, and it will kind of build a graph, like a map. You can see this paper is talking about facilitating performance. So if you dig deep into that paper, to the paper, it will give you like a map. Sorry, I thought I logged in already. Okay, thought I logged in. Let me quickly do that. Okay, that's it. So that will give me like a map of everything that is happening in that field. You see, within 2 minutes, I'm already becoming an expert in education just by doing this. So I kind of have a paper map of everything that has happened in that idea. Every paper, how they connect to each other. You can see this gives you how this connects. A lot of people have been asking, Charles, oh, your productivity is so high. Why are you getting this money? I'm just using this tool. That's just what it is. I'm using it very fast and writing those grants and getting those money. I'm churning out those papers. That's what is happening. Because here I have connection till 2017, how that paper relates with this one paper. So if you go back to our slide, any of these tools can be used, Litmap.ai, Connected Paper, ResearchRabbit, they cannot be used. Connect papers, you can immediately within 2 minutes see the connection of the paper. But the thing is that I'm a lazy professor, I don't want to go in detail, I need more tools. So another tools we can use that can read that paper for you. So now you've seen the connection. Remember where we started from. The first one is we did a literature review to get papers. We put that paper in Connected Papers to get the connection in that field. Then now we start picking those papers and go into detailed tools that we can use. We can either use Ellis.ai, Copilot, but the one I love using is Copilot because that can help me. I can quickly read the paper. Within 5 minutes, I'm reading like 5 papers. So if I go to Copilot, and this would be the last one I'm going to be showing you today. Remember my idea, I have a paper that I'm moving. So it's like a process. So I go to that paper, I go to this, it's going to ask me if I have a PDF of that paper or do I have the title of the paper, just include it. But once I include that, let's say, for example, this is the paper. This is what is going to happen here. So this is a very powerful tool. I don't need to spend hours, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, when I was in Canada and we are reading papers, sometimes we read 5 papers in a day, we spend in hours. This time around, I don't need to spend hours reading any papers like this one, like this paper here. I can quickly get the abstract, I can quickly get the method that was used, I can get summary of the introduction, I can get the result within 2 minutes. I have this done. So if you continue, and like I said, sorry, I have to speed up a little bit because I'm checking my time. If you continue with this, you put in on your paper in either Copilot, using Cite AI, anyone. Like I said, I always use Copilot. I start analyzing the paper, getting understanding more into that idea, looking for gap. Remember, one thing I'm looking for is I've seen the connection between all the paper, but I've not seen the gap. Then I put them into Copilot and I start querying Copilot that what is the gap between these two papers? Are they different? What is the similarity? From me adding such query, I start seeing gap, and that will bring me to the research gap in that area. So within 5 minutes or 10 minutes, I've never been someone in education, but I got a research gap, which I can then go ahead and work on. So that is how my idea progressed using tools into research gap. Now, once I have the research gap, now we have our research gap. The research gap will not only help us to understand the significance, because when you see the gap, perhaps from whatever you've done, you notice that the research gap is that nobody has ever looked at the impact of practice-based learning on success skills, like critical thinking. Then you generate hypotheses. Now, like I said, AI can do this for us. We don't need to crack our brain to generate hypotheses. Once we have the gap, we can use different AI that is available. The very notable one that came out in December that is spreading across the world is the ChatGPT. So this is where you use ChatGPT. The one I always use is Perplexity. A lot of people don't know about this AI, but it's been in town like 2 years ago. I've been using this. So what this what this Perplexity, the model, does is that I take the research gap that I've noticed through what I've done, I put it into Perplexity, and it's going to generate hypotheses, likely hypotheses that I can use, potential research objective that I can pursue, potential research question that I can develop methods on. This is beautiful. Within 30 minutes, I can become an education professor. I'm telling you, I know you guys are professors of education. I can become it and write a grant that will be funded within 30 minutes without even being in the field. So AI has empowered us to do amazing, great things that 10 years ago, 15 years ago, we could not do. So I know ChatGPT is very popular. Another one you can use once you have the gap is what we call the Journey AI. It's a tool, it's a model. Remember, you have to use this as a tool. They cannot replace your critical thinking. They cannot replace your brain. So once I have this research question, then I start develop methods on how to solve those questions, answer those questions. And there are also very, very important AI tools that can help you to develop model. In short, there is one called Agent GPT. This is a wonderful tool, and I've never seen something like this before. And I'm seriously telling you, this is going to change the way we do research. Agent GPT, I would have go to it, but because of time, we not. You just need to send that agent a message. You just give the agent a go. Like the impact of practice-based learning on students. That's the gap. I have a question. How does practice-based learning impact students? That's all you need to take this. It's an autonomous artificial intelligence. It's going to generate question himself. Just one question. I would have shown you I would have shown this to you, how this works. Just one question. It's a very powerful tool that will continue to generate question for you. Because what I'm asking, I'm querying the agent that, can you give me a method? What method has been used in research to pursue this kind of research question? And this agent is going to generate, it is called autonomous AI. It's going to change everything. It will generate question just by one question and continue to go. It will run infinitely. It will not stop. You will stop it. You will be tired of what Agent GPT can generate, and you will stop it. Let's just go there because it's very powerful. And it comes like this. It's like you building an AI model on yourself. So what you need to do is, let's say I want to name it FCT Coker student agent. Name it that. FCT Akoka student, and I'm like, can you give me method that can be used to pursue this research? Just that one go, what I'm asking Agent GPT, I will deploy the agent, and it will continue to think. And not only that, it's thinking to generate this method for me. It's going to start populating its own question based on your query. You could see it's adding tasks. It's adding tasks until you arrive at the method that you can use to pursue that research goal, that research question. So each research question can be, you can stop. Like I said, this agent is an autonomous agent. It will continue to work infinitely. You are the one that will stop. You will be tired and you will have to stop this agent from going on. So I'm going to stop it now. Let's go back to end this our presentation. So once you develop your method, like I said, this agent are going to give you method. But what you need to do as a researcher, as an expert in this field, is you can use your Google Scholar to compare, can I pursue this question, this research question, using this method? You know, that's what you need to be. You need to be the driver. You can't just be taking everything this agent is giving to you. It's just a tool. And lastly, the research structure. I'm not going to talk much about this. Once you figure out your idea, you figure out your method using this tool, within 20 minutes, you've done this. Then your structure. You talk about introduction, literature review. Remember, introduction, you've done literature review. because the idea generates your literature review. Remember when I was pursuing the gap, I was looking at literature, how they connected. After you looking at the connection of the literature, I went further to actually probe each of those papers until I develop a gap. That's everything you're going to write here. And under methodology, remember, AgentGPT already developed different methods for me. It's an autonomous AI. It will continue to work until I stop it. I'll be tired of the method it's going to come up with, and I'm going to stop. So it developed those models. That's what I'm going to put in my methodology. Then timeline is going to be based on your research timeline, budget. You do your budget, supplementary material like the data management plan and all that team management plan. You put into it, then your reference and every other. I'm not going to discuss this today. What I just want to discuss is what I've done, the idea, the tools I have been using. There are many other AI tools, but this is the one I personally have been using in my own research, in my team research as well. Then the methods. These are the tools we have been using in our own research as well. So I'm going to stop here. Just to get more questions. I'm sorry, I think I took about 5 minutes more, but I'm sorry about that. But before we go, we end with this conclusion from ChatGPT, which is a very popular tool, you all know. And this is a caution to researchers. You know, I was working with a researcher recently in Nigeria, and he developed we were writing, and this guy just went, and I get so frustrated about that. He went to ChatGPT and he copied everything, and he thought we will not know. You know, in academic community, these are filled up with intelligent people. So we got to know that, oh, this is copied from ChatGPT directly. These tools should be used as a tools. They cannot displace your thinking. They cannot help you to write. Don't write with them. They will even give you references that are not correct sometimes, inaccurate references. So you need to be careful. So I asked ChatGPT, this is what ChatGPT said. He said, it is important to note that while generative language models, everything I've shown you are generative models, may generate coherent. Now, look at it. Sometimes they generate inaccurate output. You as a researcher, you need to know, because you are the intelligence machine here. You need to know if this thing is incoherent. It is not a substitute for human expertise and critical thinking. You cannot just displace yourself and start using calculator to calculate everything in your JAMB exam or in your, you need to prompt the calculator or prompt the Excel, tells that machine what to do. I prompt ChatGPT further. He said, overall, the use of AI models in academic research can be a valuable tool. It should be used thoughtfully, with careful consideration of its potential limitations and ethical implications. So you have to use it ethically. I just gave you an example of a Nigerian researcher depending on this tool to write everything. So no, that's not how we use it. This has to be used ethically. Thank you very much. I will take questions.
So we are in questions now.
Please, I'd like us to just have a little break while we are putting down questions, and the break is just going to aid us to take our team's speech. So please let's put our questions together while we do that. However, before we start asking questions, it's very important to appreciate our research person. I don't know if you're going to answer a question. You, like we have announced and we all know, he's talking from Nebraska, USA, and we're about 5 hours ahead. So usually he should be sleeping now, and he has delivered like, you know, somebody who is working during working hours. I want to put our hands together again for him. Assistant Professor Charles Chioma, we are really, really grateful. Thank you very much. And then maybe once again, by the time we have the questions that we appreciate others who are online and those who are on site with us. But in the meantime, I'd like the dean to quickly give a speech in between while others take that opportunity to put down their questions and put their thoughts together. Thank you so much, sir. In a few minutes, we'll be back to you. Okay?
Mhm.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, sorry for coming late, but the Grove Road and not mainland bridge, but Japan. Thank God the car I took was a police officer. I had to take BRT, but otherwise I would have been here now. So sorry for that. The nutshell, I really appreciate your commitment. I think while I was in that car, I've chatted everyone that this is a very good lecture. And you have come to this, it's a very good lecture. It's very educative and indispensable for we in the academic community. So I really welcome my people. So since we have listened to rapt attention, so let's put in our question so that there is no person answer. I really appreciate those who are there from the other school. I can see Dr. Olojede. Let's clap for him. There another person from other school. This is Sepenatora. Okay, Sepenatora, you're welcome. Okay, I really appreciate you. I really appreciate that you already pushed Dr. Ajayi, Dr. Ben, a lot of them. Mr. Adikure, mother in the school. So really appreciate you. Another chief lecturer, another lecturer, academics and non-teaching. Thank you very much. So I hope you enjoyed the part of it. Thank you.
James, thank you, sir. I'm aware that we already have questions that have been posted online to the speaker. However, I want to ask if those of us who are on site in code also have questions. Let's know how many of us have questions. One. Just one person. Okay, so let's take Mrs. Olayo. This is others are written. We can respond to them. Ma. Okay, so we have Mrs. Olayo. Sir, we would have people who would ask their questions here. However, some have been posted as chats, which I know you can have access to. And then you go on to that. But let's have individuals who are here with us take their questions first. Good morning. And Raz in the house. I would like to ask a question on how best to use ChatGPT for and any other AI tool for meta-analysis. Thank you.
Morning. Adding on existing protocol. I'm Dr. Mrs. of Biology Department. I actually want to know because when you started your presentation, sir, you said you can collaborate with mathematics people. And I'm asking, I just want to know if we in biology, because I can see that you have something on food. And if even the college at large, is there any collaboration with your institution, University of Nebraska? Thank you.
You can go ahead, sir.
Okay, I'm just going to take them sequentially. ChatGPT has been, a lot of people currently use that. I personally allow my students to use ChatGPT because it's free. GPT 4.0 is the one that requires subscription. It can do anything, but you have, like I said, use these as tools. Use them as models, what they are. Don't solely depend on them. You can use them for anything. For a researcher, I use it in my classroom. I use it in my exams. I tell students, all my exams are open book. I do not believe in closed book exam, and we can debate that also. So my exams are open book. I tell students, use anything you want to use to answer my exams, and students use this. So we researchers, we should use them. So for meta-analysis, use them and then query whatever output is coming from them. So that's what, be very careful whatever output you're getting from these tools. They're not very accurate, precision is not very good at this time. It will get better with time. The second question about collaboration. Yes, I am always open for collaboration. Currently, I have my group, my research group here in Nebraska. We working with a professor at the Ahmadu Bello University, and we just got a grant for that work. That's about $20,000, very small, but it's a big money in Nigeria. And we are looking at digital twin of tomato post-harvest. So I'm open to collaboration. You can discuss with me. You can go on Google and then put my name there. You will find my email. You will find my cell number. Please be in touch. And also, like I said, mathematics is my area, like mathematical modeling. But I'm not a mathematician. So I just borrow mathematics to solve problems that relate to biological systems. So my biological system is food. So I can as well work with someone in biology. It just, we need to, iterate and make sure we attune to each other. So yeah, so I use mathematics for any biological system, but majorly food. So I'm looking at food as a system. Thank you. So I'm open for collaboration. Yeah, I have a question here that I'll quickly answer. Just the one posted online, if you permit me. Can I go ahead? Okay. Someone asked, are they free? All the tools that I have here are free. Everything I've mentioned in this presentation, they are free to use. However, sometimes they have some subscription package inside them. If you want to go more robust with them, you want to become more profound using this tool, then you can go into subscription. And because, AI is still very novel area, a lot of university, there have been a lot of argument if universities or colleges like yours should support subscription for these tools. Currently, I know University of Nebraska do not have any subscription for students or for researcher to use these tools. So it's better you go with the free one. Everything I presented here are free. Then I have another question. Okay, I think that's the question I have here. Yeah, that's all. Yeah.
All right, so we are very grateful. Okay, sir. Thank you very much for the presentation. It's been a very rich one. The help of the entire School of Science Education, the James School of Science Education, the chairman and members of the conference organizing committee. We like to say a huge thank you to staff for this notable presentation. Honestly, we've had value for our time. I remember that yesterday we were telling the audience at the opening ceremony that they should do their best to be here, and we are really grateful that people did not just appear on site, they have also joined us online, and they have been actively participating because we have them, asking questions and following the presentation. May I, sir, before we call it a day with you, I to say, okay, there's another question online. Okay, all right. But I like to submit that you'll be here for distance time concerning the issues of collaboration, concerning other things we have in mind as thought, and we are going to make good use of all that you have given to us. Thank you once again very much. I'm aware there's a question online that would like you to take. Please go ahead and react to that.
Okay, yeah, this is a very interesting question. I've always, my colleague here in the university have always asked me, why do I support open book exams? I think in real life, number one, I'm a very unconventional person. I do not follow convention. That's what has brought me to this point where I am. I think real life, there is no closed book. So why are we as professors, as teachers, Why are we setting exams? I know there are a lot of bureaucracy, you know, to maneuver in university environment or in college. Why are we going closed book? In real life, they're going to work open book. Like a banker working in the bank is not going to, it's a real life experience. So real life is open. So why are we closed with them? So I do not believe in closed book exam. I think to your question, number one, open book exams is you are simulating the real life. Now, you're talking about time. Also, exams should not be time bounded. As a researcher, you have an idea. You don't time bound yourself. So why do you want to make exam time bounded? So what I tell my students at the beginning of the semester, the exam is open. Go ahead and start solving it till the end of the semester. If you cannot even solve it to the end of the semester, take any, if you can want to take 2 years to solve, go ahead. So that's what I believe in. So my exam, not only that is open book, is not time bounded. I do not believe in it. Yeah, a lot of people say, oh, this makes student discipline. That's a talk for another day. But I think, and this is my perspective, this is my opinion. I think exam as well should not be time bounded. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. I will hand over to the conference committee chairperson, who is going to say the vote of thanks. However, I do not want to forget that we'd like to have the slide of the presentation today, and I'm sure that we can get that across. Thank you.
Thank you.
From this presentation, I must say a very big thank you to the resource person, Professor Charles Louis of the Department of and Innovation Technology, University of Nebraska. Thank you so much. We appreciate and thank you for honoring us, you know.
Thank you.
And on behalf of the School of Science, the team, School of Science, and the local organizing committee of this conference, we say a very big thank you to everybody present here today. We thank our chief lecturer, all the visitors here, both online and on site. Thank you. And then, please, this is not the end of the conference. We are still marching on. After the congregational meeting, we are coming back for our technical section. Thank you once more, and God bless.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye. Thank you.
As I brought the word our chairperson has just said, I want to say thank you for finding time to be here, and may God bless you richly in Jesus' name. We are going to have the closing prayer said by our dear Dr. E.I. Obolo. Reverend Doctor. Let us pray. Father, we thank you. Thank you that for the success of this section. Go to the next section. We ask for your help. In Jesus' name we have prayed.
Hello, thank you everyone. Before we start exchanging pleasantries, please, the technical session, we are going to have the session now before we go, and then we continue immediately after the congregation. But we want to start because we need to be mindful of time. We are going to have it here now because we are set. So we just take a few before we go. So can we start immediately, please? The chairman of session, technical session resource person, please come forward. The table is set, and then we can go ahead. Thank you. We are ready for the technical session now. Please
Because that will take your thing in front.
Samasa. Move your hand. Just like.
Yes, please, I'm asking.